Richards trying to scoot in there alone. It pinballs to the crease.
Let's get it.
Oh my God! Here we go.
You're listening to the Pod Street Blues Podcast with your hosts, Derek.
Now you're gonna get it, brother.
John. Matt Casey.
Unnecessary, but totally necessary.
And Hoagie.
What's not to love?
What's happening, everybody? Welcome to another Pod Street pregame. It seems like it's been forever. Hoagie's losing. I can see it right now, man. We got to get back in the swing of things here.
Yeah, man.
Hey, dude. Well, I'm Derek, obviously joined by Hoagie. We've got two games to talk about here tonight because we've got back-to-back, one against the Seattle Kraken that the Flyers handled earlier on in the season, and then they've got another game against the San Jose Sharks the very next night. On Thursday night. Hoagie in control of the banners there. Looks good. So let's start with the Seattle game, man. This is a team that obviously, the Flyers took it to them. They beat them 6-1 earlier in the year, one of the first games of the season. And the Flyers look pretty good doing so. This time around, though, I'm sure Seattle's going to be out for a pound of flesh. What are you expecting out of this game here?
Well, I mean, both teams haven't played since like a week and a half, so I'm not expecting a whole lot coming off this holiday break / COVID pause, whatever you want to call it. But I mean, I really want the Flyers to come out hot and stomp on the Kraken once again. We gotta take it to them. They're terrible. They're 10-17-3. You just gotta put your foot on the gas and go for it.
Right. If they can continue their winning ways from before you want to call it a pause here, they should easily take care of this team. Seattle's last place in the Pacific Division, 23 points. They're 7 points behind the seventh place team, Vancouver. Also have one game in hand. But we're looking also at a team that's got a minus 24 goal differential, a team that's allowing over 3.5 goals per game and only scoring, 2.8. So a team that the Flyers could easily handle. We're also seeing, the big thing really that we're seeing across the league is the protocol and people going on the list, people coming off the list. With Seattle, you've got a lot of turmoil on their defense. Vince Dunn is going to be out. Adam Larson is possible to come back. He's eligible to come back Wednesday. We're not sure. Obviously, I think he has to produce a negative test. Alexiak's back. Carson Soucy's back, but they're also going to be missing Ryan Donato and Mason Appleton. All names, that to the team, I'm sure they're important, but let's be honest, I don't know who Mason Appleton is.
I didn't know who half of those guys were.
Right. It's like, I'm sure it's going to be detrimental to Seattle because they seem like regulars in the lineup, but again, it's the Seattle lineup. Right. Do you think that the COVID protocol is going to have a bigger effect than we think, or not too much of an effect here for Seattle?
For Seattle, I don't think it'll be too much of an impact. Earlier in the season, we were playing an AHL roster. They are an AHL roster. And right now, you're still playing an AHL roster, even with all these guys out. You got to look out for their top line with Eberle, McCann, and Schwartz. So, they still have their top guys.
Mm-hmm.
You got to take them seriously.
Absolutely. The Flyers aren't really in a position to take anybody lightly at this point.
Right.
But we're looking at a team also that's allowing the third most goals in the league right now, 107 over, 33 games or 30 games. I'm sorry. My math just is not
quick
working.
Math.
Yeah. The Flyers took a break from hockey. I took a break from math.
Right.
But, Philadelphia's dealing with their own problems right now. I know your boy Scott Lawton's in protocol. Sean Couturier, Derek Brassard, Carter Hart, Ryan Ellis is in protocol.
Who's Ryan Ellis?
It amazes me. But nonetheless, you're without your starting goaltender. You're without your 1C. You're without a key cog in the machine with Scott Lawton as well. And then Derek Brassard. Is it going to be a bigger hurdle to clear for the Flyers than it would be for Seattle, considering the names that are on the protocol list for the Flyers?
You know what? I don't think so because we have Hayes and Frost getting back in coming off of COVID protocol. So we went down 2 centers and we just gained 2 centers right back. I'm completely happy with that. I think Hayes will slide in on the second line. And I think Frost will probably slide in on the third line with G moving and that G line popping in on the first. So I think it just kind of balances each other out, which I hope it does because I was a little afraid when Couturier went down. It's like, oh boy, here we go.
Absolutely, dude. I feel the same way. Now, how confident are you now with Martin Jones taking over the crease?
I mean, he's proved to us that he can play and he can win games. I'm happy with him. I wish, he wasn't playing in the first game. I wish he was playing in the second game against San Jose and just, giving Sandstrom some NHL action. Why not? I mean, you have it back to back. I'm not too happy with Jones playing in the first game, but I mean, you got to just deal with it as it comes, right?
Sure. Yeah, I mean, we're going to end up probably seeing Felix Sandstrom take on the San Jose Sharks, which we'll get to here in a little bit. I mean, I'll save that question obviously for later. More relates to the San Jose game. But Jamie Alexiak being back in the lineup for Seattle, they also did mention limiting their minutes, him with Carson Soucy as well. What type of effect is that going to have on the rest of their defense? Because you're going to look at a guy like Alexiak who is capable of playing top pairing minutes. Is that going to put too much of a strain on the defense? And is it something that the Flyers you think will be able to capitalize on?
I freaking hope so. I mean, if they're giving these guys limited minutes, you have to load up on your first and second lines and just let them roll and get them out there when they're playing those shorter minutes and attack them hard.
Mm-hmm. Sure, yeah, absolutely. I think that with the defense the way it is, the Flyers, they're missing some firepower on offense. Don't get me wrong, but again, they've got enough. And I think personally, Morgan Frost is a guy to watch in this game. If we can see some of that creativity, that offensive creativity, we've seen him in spurts be just a firecracker, if you will. It'd be really nice to see him turn it on against Seattle. Is there a guy that you think we should all keep our eyes on here for the Flyers against Seattle?
You know what? I kind of want Konechny to go off on this game. I think I said it last time we were on the pregame, but I think Konechny back with Hayes and Farabee. I think that line clicked last year, and I think if they're able to find their chemistry early on in this game, I think he'll go off.
Sure. No, absolutely. It'd be nice to see Konechny really start pitching in here offensively. It's what we're paying him for. But
right.
Neither here nor there, I guess. But anyways, we do have a comment here real quick from a Tasha Bob. She says, less hockey, more dad jokes. She's not tuning in right now, but I'm sure she can hear me from downstairs. We'll get to that. But
I'll find one for you.
Yeah. So, to kind of wrap up the talk here with Seattle, what are you thinking? Is this a game that the Flyers should easily handle? Do you think would it actually be wise to even predict how you think this game is going to go?
I mean, it should be an easy to handle this game. I mean, Seattle. We expected this from when they drafted their team. They're not going to be good. And I mean, Dave Axel, we just have to freaking remind him that he's not an NHL caliber coach and he should go back to coaching college hockey. He's done. So take it to the house, let him go. And I really need a big, strong defensive effort from the whole team for Jones.
Sure. I mean, we did see too, and I guess before we get to the San Jose game, it kind of ties in, but Cam York and Sealer as well are also skating. They were skating at least in practice here on Tuesday with the potential of maybe one or two of those guys slotting into the lineup. Obviously, I don't know who's coming out. Does it excite you at all that Cam York is up? Now, he's on the taxi squad technically, but there is the opportunity for him to slot into the lineup, play a game or two maybe, depending on what's going on. Or even if it's foreshadowing, maybe they think that one of the guys is on the protocol list. But again, that's just speculation. Nothing to do with this. Is it cool, though, to see Cam York, or do you think maybe I'll get to it later because I've got my thoughts on it. But what are your thoughts on Cam York on the taxi squad?
To be honest, I didn't even know he was up until an hour ago. I don't know how I missed that news this afternoon, but I did. But I was like, wait, am I really reading this correctly? And yeah, I'm excited. I hope he does get some playing time. But our defense remains the same in terms of what was practicing on the ice today. So I don't know where he's going to slot in. I'd hate to just see him sitting on the taxi squad. I hope he's just there for important, just in case someone goes down. We need to call him in. Let's do it.
Sure. Yeah, that's exactly my thoughts. I'm not crazy about the fact that he's going to be on a taxi squad when the Phantoms could potentially be playing. He could be seeing game time with them in an expanded role with their defense. But again, if it's precautionary, so be it. And he's back down maybe by the weekend, and he can play the Phantoms games if they do happen this weekend. But that's just my thoughts. Let's jump ship here to the San Jose matchup on Thursday night. We do have a team really that hasn't been impacted nearly as much by COVID protocol. We're seeing they're actually going to be playing tonight here against Arizona, one of the league's worst, if not the worst in the league. Tomas Hertl is actually back in action. He was on the protocol list. He tested positive on the 21st, if I'm not mistaken. He's back off the list. He's back playing. They are going to be without Aiden Hill, their goalie, and looks like Jonathan Dahlin, one of their forwards. They've called up Zachary Salchenko, rookie goalie. We might see Salchenko because it looks like Reimer is starting tonight. But with a day's rest, it wouldn't surprise me if they played Reimer both games. Regardless, San Jose, a decent team in their division. They're sitting in sixth, only 5 points back of third place, that tie between Calgary and Edmonton. What do you anticipate heading into this matchup with the San Jose Sharks?
I think this is going to be a boring game. San Jose just seems like, on paper, from just looking at stats, I don't watch the Sharks at all, except when the Flyers play them. And even then, it's hard to watch them because it's always on the West Coast, and it's a tough game to watch. But I think it's just going to be a boring game. It's they're pretty much like hand in hand in goals. Sharks have 78, Flyers have 77. They're like in the bottom half of the bracket for goals for. I think it's going to be very low scoring, and I just don't think it's going to be exciting to watch.
Sure. Yeah, no, they're 26th, I think, in the league for goals for. They're 13th best in goals allowed with 84. That's a tie with somebody. I don't know. It is kind of shaping up to be a boring game, though, because you look at the way the Flyers play, they allow 3.2 goals per game, but San Jose is only scoring just over 2.5. The Flyers also are they're scoring 2.7, while the Sharks are allowing 2.8. So right on par. We could see a low-scoring game, see a boring game. It's at this point too, though, given the fact that the Flyers haven't played in just about a week, maybe over a week. I just want hockey back. I just want hockey back. I don't care. It could be mites on ice. I want to watch it.
You're right. Luckily, I still have men's league, so I've still been playing, but.
Yeah,
I love to watch it as well.
Oh yeah, dude. Even if it's a 10:30 start tomorrow night, I don't care. I'll stay up, whatever.
Yeah.
I just want to watch it and get my fix here. I'm like a hockey addict. But we're looking at a team right now in a, you want to call it maybe fairly strong Pacific Division. I'm not going to say it's any type of juggernaut, but it's a decent division. And the Sharks are hanging tough. They're only 5 points back out of the third place spot. And, their power play is scoring at an 18.9% clip. It's middle of the pack. The penalty kill is actually fifth in the league right now, 85.3. So strong penalty kill. The Flyers power play showing signs of life, getting better. Right. Do you think that could translate against the strong Sharks penalty kill here?
Who knows? They haven't really had much practice time with this COVID holiday break pause. So who knows if the power play will start clicking again when they get back. So, if they're able to light it up against Seattle and carry that momentum on the power play against San Jose, I think it'll help, but all bets are off with the power play this year.
Sure. No, absolutely. We saw it. It was terrible at first. Terrian's gone. Power plays played much better as of late, at least. But, this is shaping up to be an interesting matchup given the fact that it is on the tail end of a back-to-back. Do you think, this is kind of a cliche question, but like how much is fatigue going to play a factor in how the Flyers perform against the Sharks?
Oh, it definitely is. That's why I think it's going to be a boring game because the Flyers always play so bad when they're in the second half of a back-to-back, and I just don't understand it. I mean, I get it. You played a game, and then 24 hours later, you're playing another game in another city. It's tough, but I mean, you're paid to do this. You're like, get up on your horse and go.
Right. Yeah. No, I completely agree. I mean, historically, they had been it's been pretty rough on the tail end of back-to-backs. I want to say it was earlier this season they actually won both games in a back-to-back. I think it was just maybe a couple weeks ago, if I'm not mistaken. But you can't count on that every single time. That's not something that you're going to be able to bank on. As far as the Sharks game go, I mean, we just talked about it with Seattle. But, if there's one player that you want to keep your eye on here for the Sharks-Flyers matchup, who's that going to be?
I'm going with Jones. I think Jones is going to get back-to-back starts, which I hate to see. They've said it. Mike Yeo has come out and said that he might go with Jones back-to-back. Okay. I hate seeing that. It's just unfair to the goalie.
It's tough. That's a tough ask.
Right. That's why I would rather Sandstrom play against Seattle, because Seattle is the lesser of the team. Let Jones play against it's his homecoming. You can't let him just sit on the bench and watch it go.
Sure.
If Hart wasn't on COVID protocol, Hart would have played against the Kraken, and Jones would have done the homecoming. So I think they're going to go with Jones just for the homecoming aspect.
Sure. As far as movie storylines go, this would be terrible. This would be a terrible movie. I wouldn't watch it. You want to see Martin Jones play against his former team in San Jose. Seattle, I could give two you-know-whats about who plays against San Jose. Right. Or against Seattle, I'm sorry. I'd love to see Sandstrom play against Seattle. I really would. I'd like to see him in NHL action. Unfortunately, if it doesn't happen, it's we kind of need to see what he can give us at the NHL level. I'm not thinking he's going to end up supplanting Hart or anything like that.
Right.
But we need to know what type of commodity we have. At the very least, it could be a valuable trade chip. But
yeah, I mean, the pipeline for goalies is full for the Flyers. So show what we have. I mean,
sure.
We also have Ustimenko on the taxi squad as well. So
my guy. I would love to see him get some action. I really would.
Yeah,
but,
right.
It is what it is. I think Sandstrom comes from, Sweden, from the SHL, playing overseas there in more of a pro league, whereas Ustimenko came from the MHL, the KHL as well. I think VHL he spent some time in as well. Sure. Junior leagues in Russia that I think he's acclimated to the game much better in North America than Sandstrom has as of late. Right. But he's also coming off a pretty rough injury. It was a torn labrum in his hip or something like that. So it makes sense. I get it. Use the guy sparingly, make sure you can ease him back in. But man, what's the harm? Give Sandstrom a start and see how he does. It's still relatively early. You got to see it. I want to see Sandstrom start against San Jose. I think that's not my end all be all, but I would absolutely prefer it because, much to your point earlier, starting Jones on a back-to-back both games is just brutal.
Yeah, it's not going to be good for the entire team.
No. No, it's going to draw some terrible inspiration for the defense in front of him too.
Pretty much. And that's why I said against Seattle, it's got to be an entire defensive game from the entire team. Mm-hmm. Everybody plays defense, regardless if you're a forward or defenseman. Everybody plays defense. So that if they're going to start him in the back-to-backs, the entire team has to play defense the first game, so he's not as tired for the second.
Absolutely. Anything else that you want to add about any of these matchups here, man?
No, get some points out of these.
For sure. Oh, God, they could use some.
Right.
So I know we typically save this here for our weekly episode every Sunday night. Hoagie, to the request of my wife, do you have any dad jokes for us this week?
I'm going to pull one of these up.
Because, if you need any, I do have your whole book.
You got your book. I love it.
This is Christmas for me.
You know what? I'll do this one since New Year's is coming up, and I was hoping we would do a weekly broadcast this past week, but this is perfect. I never remember what people tell me at New Year's parties. It goes in one year and out the other.
Ooh, good one. I like the play on words.
Absolutely.
Even better, John's not here to A, explain it, or B,
Or
just
critique
completely
it.
crap on it. All right, man. Well, hey, anything else that you want to add then? I'll give you one last chance.
I'm good to go. Let's get back to hockey, baby.
Absolutely. All right, man. Let everybody know where they're going to be able to find you here.
I'm at Pod Street Hose on that Twitter app for all
Right.
your flyers and random crap.
Solid. All right, man. I'm on Twitter at Pod Street Bob. You can find all four of us on Twitter at Pod ST Bullies. This has been your Pod Street pregame, and be on the lookout for our weekly episode, hopefully, as long as John doesn't put the kibosh to it. Yeah, dick. Sometime Sunday or Monday, and yeah, I'll just leave you like that because I don't leave you with the Let's Go Flyers anymore.
It's tired. It's old.
It is. We're getting out of here, though. Have a great week. Enjoy the games, guys. Take care.
Happy New Year's.